Diana, you're hilarious.
I didn't do anything.
That's why you're hilarious. All right.
Everyone has a unique gift, and Mike and Diana, host of the 1NELife podcast,
Where's the other
believe
camera?
that most people don't know how to use their gifts, or
I don't
what
have it
they
up.
are. Mike
Why?
and Diana want you to see
I don't
things
wanna
from a
use it.
different perspective and be true to yourself. The 1NELife podcast unites the
I
world
haven't
through
set it
art,
up.
fashion, music,
I need another
and
light
film. It inspires,
for it,
motivates, and
and
creates positive
I haven't
energy,
decided where I
love,
want to put
and
it yet.
compassion to all communities.
When
It
Nikki came
creates
and helped
an
me
equal
do the
playing
lights,
field
I need
for
another
all.
light,
On
and
the
then I'm gonna
1NELife
put these lights
podcast,
somewhere
they
else.
cover topics
Oh,
like
okay.
building relationships, overcoming adversity, habits of healthy people, and much, much more. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the 1NELife podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the 1NELife podcast. I am Mike, M-I-C Reed, and as always, I have my lovely co-host, Diana from
Hey,
Socialholic.
y'all.
And we are in the lobby, you guys. We have Jacqueline Diaz from You Are Enough Foundation with us today. Thank you, Jacqueline, for hanging out with us and sharing your story. And, you know, before that, we're going to check in with Diana with the Socialholic experience. What's going on with the AV?
There's always something going on in the AV, you know, and this place got so much exciting. Every weekend we got things, events. It could be art, it could be
Yes.
music, it could be family, it could be date night. So, but I do want to mention once again this Saturday, which is tomorrow, Saturday, September 17th from 4 to 9 p.m. We have our Antelope Valley Walls Arts and Music Festival. Basically just talking and showcasing music, poetry, and art. It's going to be at the American Heroes Park here on off of Lancaster Boulevard. It's like right behind MOA. There's going to be over 13 food trucks, including our friends Barrios and Tony B and Kona Ice. There's going to be a car show. I think there's actually 2 car shows. Live entertainment on 3 stages, and our friend DJ Craig AC will be DJing at one of those stages. General admission is free. However, other things will cost money, such as obviously food trucks, drinks. I think you can buy stuff from vendors. So go check it out, 4 to 9 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, September 17th. Also, I want to show love to, it's not a new establishment. It's just been under new ownership. So Coach's Sports Bar, they are now offering bottomless mimosas every weekend from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That way you can catch your college and your Sunday football games. Bring your wives, bottomless mimosas. Coach's Sports Bar. Oh my God, I can't talk today. Next, I want to talk about an event. We had Adriana here last week.
Yes.
She is with, she owns Beauty for Ashes. Her company, along with a few other girls, are putting on an event called Beauty Inside and Out. That is September 24th, which is next Saturday from 11 to 3. They're going to be talking about financial health, spiritual, and mental health. Tickets are available for $25. The speakers will be Adriana, which was Beauty for Ashes. She was here last week, like I mentioned. May Gonzalez with Trinity for Health. Erica Alverde, which is the Vine Refuge. And Linda Enos. She's a pastor, and also she is the one that I believe she owns, or her church owns, Butler's Coffee, which I love going to there for Cafecito with a Cause. And their coffee's amazing. The purpose, the whole entire just backstory to that is a beautiful story, so we always love to support. But those are some of the events I wanted to talk about today.
Nice. And you know what? I want to definitely give a shout out to a couple of people, only because, you know, I'm real big on community support. And when people support us, you know, I always got to kind of mention them. And last week at the King Bar, I had an amazing time at the Lighter Shade of Brown Dub C concert. Sam, the owner over there, is amazing. He took care of me and my people the whole night. We had a great time. Shout out to Crazy K and Danielle over there. We just had a great time. Like I said, I support everybody. You might find me, you know, at a hip-hop concert, at a country concert. You might find me on the boulevard at Fusion taking a bachata class. Like, I just love supporting people that support us, and that's about community, and, you know, especially community over competition is what we always talk about. So I'm just constantly always supporting everybody. And lately we've been getting so much requests and invites to go in places, and obviously we can't be everywhere. But I at least try to make an appearance. Like last night I was at 3 different spots. Today I got 5 invites, and I only could go to 2 tonight. And I got in trouble last night.
Okay,
I got in trouble last night. You said moving on. Why you say that?
I don't want to know.
No, because your name came up too.
Nope.
No,
I was
so
at home working until 9:30 at night.
I was at. I ended my night at Big Shots because that was the last spot I had to go, and Buck from Zelda's came up behind me.
What's that, Buck?
He
I haven't
said,
seen him in a minute.
Exactly, and that's what he said. He said, "Oh, so you
Wedding
guys."
season part 2 is here, my friends. So
He said that he was like, "Oh, so this is where you guys been hanging out for the last 2 months." Like, so he kind of got on me about that.
Oh, you
but,
noticed 2 months?
Yeah,
How
he missed
sweet.
us. So anyway, but it's like I said, we get so many invites to go places, and we can't be everywhere. Obviously,
I
we
didn't get in
love
trouble.
Zelda's,
I never get in trouble.
and we will be back. So, I mean, we will be back. I mean, sometimes we got to take a break and go support it. Other
Yeah, we gotta
establishments.
show love to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of places out here, y'all. Like we want everybody on the map.
no, exactly. So I told him we'll be back sometime soon. I don't know when. But anyways,
We gotta do our rounds.
we gotta do our rounds. Anyways, I just lost my train of thoughts. This episode is brought to you by Eventually Events, where they create magical moments and take care of every detail so you can enjoy that special time in your life. Book your appointments now at IG at Eventually Events. Also, Money Market Business Solutions. They will help you with your business startup assistance. Reach out to them at 661-537-4877. Again, 661-537-4877. All right, you guys, like I said, we are here with Jacqueline Diaz. The wrong button.
About to go
We are
up
going to the top floor, and we are talking to Jacqueline Diaz with You Are Enough Foundation. We're going to talk about suicide prevention today. How are you doing, Jacqueline?
I'm excited to be in here today. Thank you so much for offering, to have me here. Really, really happy.
I think that I've been looking forward to this. I think I mentioned this with Tim the other day. It was a last minute kind of discussion with you to have you on, but I think it's so important. I think all of, especially me and him, and obviously you, this is a very special piece to our heart, or a place in our heart to discuss something like this. And I think it's become so relevant, especially after COVID. And not very many people have solutions and options and someone to listen to them. So I would love to hear, how did you get to this place?
Sure. So on June 7, 2017, I received a call that I lost my son, Eric, and then they told me that it was by suicide. So then at the moment, of course, my world crumbled, and I just didn't understand what happened. He was studying. He was happy. Everything was going great. He just finished graduating from being a mechanic. We had plans, and then I get this call, and I had no warning signs. So, of course, I was just in shock. And as soon as that happened, I wanted to find out more about suicide and prevention and how I can help people, since I couldn't help my son. So then I started to see around Googling, about mental health, suicide prevention, statistics, things like that. And I wanted to do something and bring a change to the community. And then also the other side of that was people didn't want to hear about it. Yeah. And even my mom, she said, let's say it was a car accident. But then I understood when she said that to me, I looked at her and I said, no, because I didn't know anything about suicide. Maybe it was happening, but people kind of were, quiet about it. So then I said, no, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to share what happened. And if people want to judge us or me or him, then that's up to them. But I want to use this story and what happened to give hope and change lives.
I love that.
And how old was Eric?
He was 20 years old.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm looking on here. I'm on your IG right now, and I'm looking at the stats. I mean, for a 20-year-old, that's the third leading cause of death. And, what's even crazy is the second second leading cause of death is ages 25 to 34. So that age range is really huge for that age range. And that's the age range really, especially the 25 to 34-year-old is when they just become into adulthood. And I think they realize that adulthood isn't so easy as
Hard.
yeah, like
Yeah.
kids,
Oh my God,
like,
what am I gonna
you
do
know,
with my life?
kids are always like, I can't wait to become an adult so I can just
Right.
do what I want, blah, blah. And it's like, it's not that hard. I mean, that's the second leading cause of death for that age range.
Yes.
That tells you right there that they, at that age range, they finally like, oh, it's not that hard, easy.
Right. And it's we talk about COVID, you know, but suicide is being the second leading cause
Yeah.
of death for a long time. And
But
people
it's
don't
that
want to talk about
stigma
it.
because
Yes.
people are like ashamed, or even family is ashamed, or when, let's say, they are wanting to reach out to someone like, hey, I'm depressed, I'm having issues. A lot of people are like, you'll be fine,
Yeah.
toughen that upper
Oh,
lip.
pray about it.
Pray about it, and like, oh, that's nothing, like life's hard, like get over it.
Yes.
There's not outlets, and then when there is, sometimes they're not what you expect them to be, and be helpful, and to be answering phones or
Right.
or getting that response that you expected. And what are some things that you feel are needed, and you're basically trying to bring attention to bring for suicide awareness?
More resources, the schools too, more help, more counselors. We have a small little, maybe 5 or 4, and we have 3,000 students. I think we need to have more resources for kids, more hospitals, make it, share the number, make it more comfortable. Just like I always tell parents, just like we talk about sex and drugs to kids, even when they're little, right? We start with the drugs, no. We have to start asking them, how you doing mentally, or what's going on, or how do you feel, and kind of like help them, teach them how to cope. But if the parents don't talk about it, if we don't do it, the kids obviously, they see the example, then
suppress it.
they won't share anything.
So last night I was at the town hall meeting with Captain Schaefer, and he talked about mental health, and one of the things that and he talked about a lot of programs that he has. So my whole thing about having all these programs and resources is we've always had them for decades, right? Just different names, right? They keep trying to rechange the names, but they're always available. So I was watching a TV show a while ago, and this guy was sitting in a rehab center in the lobby waiting for his friend to check in. And the lady behind the counter just looked at him, and she said, rehab is for people who want it, not for people who need it. And that applies to all resources, right? So the resources are there. And this is my opinion. The resources are there, but it's really for people who want it. So I think the question is, it's not about let's have more resources. Like, let's have these conversations about how do we get people to want it. Like, we know people need it, but if they don't want it, it's kind of hard. We can't control people, right? So how do we have those conversations and get people to understand or just see it from a different perspective so they could get it, like they to where they want it?
I think it's also having people understand. I think the biggest false or lie is when someone, does commit suicide or attempts it, people say, oh, that's such a selfish act.
Mm-hmm.
When that's not the case, and in someone's mind that's dealing with mental health, that might be the most selfless act they think of. I think it's understanding that breakdown in their head. You need to have people that understand what they're feeling, because on the outside, if you're not going through it, and mental illness can be not hereditary, but it can be something in your genes. Like, it could be that you literally don't know why you feel this way. Nothing happened. You might be very successful in life. You might have the most amazing family, wife, husband, kids, dog, white picket fence, but something needs help, and you don't understand why. We need to have more compassion, and people being able to talk, in major classes without a stigmatism, people, making fun of people feeling this way. And I agree with you, it being shared in schools immediately, like even elementary. saying
Yes.
it's okay if you're feeling this way. It's okay. Talk to somebody. You are important. You're here for a purpose, and it's understanding why they feel that way and how we can help. Because yes, people that rehab is for people that want it, but how do you know when you want it or need it? Like if you don't know that, and medication isn't always the answer. Sometimes it is talking to people. So
Right.
it's such a complex issue, I think,
And,
or a
and
challenge.
so last night when I was at the town hall, I was talking to a couple of the deputies too, and I forgot their names. But one of the deputies I was talking to, we kind of brought that up, like how you were just saying, like it needs, like it's Suicide Prevention Week last week, right?
Right.
And it's like, why is it just a week? Like this thing, it should be every day.
Every day.
Like, and like, for instance, when things happen at schools, right, they always bring out counselors when things happen. And this is what I was talking to the deputy about, is like, why they only do that when there's an incident? Like that should be available every day, every week,
Right.
like constantly talking to these kids. Like it shouldn't just be available when there's a tragedy. Right.
I know I say resources because I hear stories of parents that take their children to get help to the hospital. They wait there for a table, a bed, I'm sorry, for days.
Yeah.
Okay, if you call the numbers and the children or youth or teenagers want to talk to someone, they say, "Oh, we don't have anything available until 3-4 months." So what?
You have to
That's
wait.
what I'm saying. We need more. Yeah, they have to wait, and it's gonna be too late
Yeah.
for the kid or the parent that doesn't know how to address it or what to do. So those are just few stories of what I hear, and a lot of people tell me that we need more beds, we need more attention, we need more counselors, more help, because they call, they reach out, but then you have to wait.
I have a question though. A lot of times when dealing with mental health, some people can't get out of bed.
Oh yeah.
Are there at home, like going to someone's home option? There's those kinds of treatment centers, because that might be something that is needed.
I know of the text, the 741. 741 is a crisis text line. There's only a crisis to go home when only there's a crisis. I don't know of what you're saying, like someone just to go, but I will say that call the 988 number if you need to speak to someone. The National Suicide Prevention number got short this year, so 988, 3 digits. Make it easier for people to reach out and memorize it, and also the text line. Those will be the ones.
Well, it brings that importance, because 911 is for medical emergencies.
Right.
988 is for mental emergencies, and that makes it okay. Like this is a real thing, guys.
And that's what Captain Schaefer, like that was his main topic yesterday, because he said he has 6 different programs, and one of them is mental health and other things, and he was asking the public for their feedback, because he was saying everybody always calls 911. But he was like, do you really need a deputy at all these calls? He said if people start to use the 988, then it frees up them to go handle the more important situations. So that was his main objective last night, is to actually talk about the 988.
Yeah, I'm so happy that passed, and that we're getting a lot of support on that. Yeah.
I would like to see things that are preventative. Like I mentioned, that at home, I think as a society, we need to realize that this could be what is the start of a lot of trickle-down issues, whether they're handled now, whether they're handled by, suicide prevention, or, they go into drugs, and then it becomes an issue with addiction, and then it becomes an issue with homelessness. There's so much that leads to this very, very first topic of mental health. Yeah. I have a question for you as a mom dealing with this. What is something that you needed, and what you feel other moms could need, and how we can support that?
I will say, like you said, compassion, talking about it, the school, like if I would have got, 2017, 5 years ago, I didn't see any commercials about mental health like now. Celebrities were not talking that openly. But if I would have seen this before, then maybe I would have been more aware, or getting a pamphlet maybe from school, like, mental health, suicide prevention. I don't think I did see that. So I think that would have helped me to be more open and aware to ask the questions, you know.
I think it's hard asking your kid, "Are you suicidal, or do you have thoughts?"
I never
like
even
that?
thought about it. I never even crossed I was in the dark, really. So that's what I wanted to start this foundation and say, okay, we have to get busy and open their eyes and
Bring light.
bring the light and ask the question, and don't be scared. If you ask, are you depressed? If they say yes, and say, okay, how you feel? And then you have to ask, have you thought about hurting yourself or killing yourself? And if they say yes, then you have to ask, do you have a plan? If they say yes, okay, how will you do it? So you have to go through that, and then then you get help. Don't leave them alone. You need to get help because they're telling you yes, that they want to do it.
I think it's hard for some parents. They think that if they ask those questions, it's going to provoke them, or
Yes, but
it
no.
might make it worse. And or they don't know. It's like asking, are you having sex yet? Sometimes
Right.
it's a hard
Or
question
drugs,
to
drugs
ask.
too,
Yeah,
like,
it's a
yeah.
hard question. I mean,
Yeah.
as a mom myself, I'm just like, and I tell my son, if you ever did something, that would be my whole world, and like I couldn't, and I do ask these questions. It's very hard for me. And he has a dry sense of humor. So sometimes my son likes to mess with me, and I'm like, okay, I swear to God, like I'm gonna hurt you right now. But like, I can't, I don't know what is needed in schools to like help parents. Cause I feel like even like with our culture, in the Hispanic culture, it's like, it's not a welcoming topic. It's so like, oh no, put it under the rug. Nobody wants to know that. It's embarrassing. And it's like, that's not embarrassing. It's really sad to see that.
But just last week, I was reading this article on TMZ. This hip hop artist, his girlfriend committed suicide, and she actually sent him this long text before she did it. And I was reading it, and she said, she was sorry, and she said, she had made up her mind. She said years ago. Like it was already done years ago. She said she was just going through the emotions, finding the right time to do it. So with people like that already made up their mind, is like, how do you break that? Like, how do you even break that to get them to come back?
I would say if they, I can talk for her, but I will say if maybe she would have opened to someone and that someone would have asked her to be in therapy, maybe. But every case is different.
Right, yeah.
We're all different. So like in case of my Eric, he never told me anything. He was never in therapy. So it was just a shock for me, like to get that call.
Well, that's what the guy was saying. He was like, because I said he's a hip hop artist. So TMZ was interviewing him, and he was like, I just never knew. Like he said, I wouldn't have been fighting with her if I knew, because so she had caused a fight the day before so she could leave to go do it. And he was like, oh wow, if I would have known that, I would have never fought with her.
Yeah.
Like they hide it so well.
Yeah.
And like she said, she made up her mind like a long time ago.
I would say maybe they, like I didn't have the conversation with my kids. Maybe they didn't talk about mental health. Like, how you doing? Like, even I tell, like women or men, I said, check with your partner too. How you doing? How you doing mentally? Or do you need to go for a walk? Or are you stressed? I mean, this society, we're trained to just work. And that's, the biggest success that we see. But successful, it can be peace, being peaceful and taking time for yourself, self-care. And I learned that after Eric.
Do you remember any of his close friends or anyone that he was around? Did they mention to you that they felt there were signs, or?
No, but he did text a friend, and I shared this with the kids too. Don't keep secrets, because they kept it as a secret. And they were talking about it. Yeah. And I know his mom, and I wish, things would have been different, but, he was being a friend. And, but yeah, that's the only thing. So I always tell kids, don't keep secrets like that, because even if they're joking about it, they're saying it. They're giving you hints, but they're not really saying it. And you have to follow up, and you have to make sure that they are okay.
It's hard with that, right? I mean, your friends, you're told, like, don't be a snitch, or don't be, tell my mom on me, kind of a thing. But in that situation, there's so much work. There's so much work to be done.
Yeah, and one thing that I think COVID helped was mental health, because before COVID, I will go to events bring my resources, and people will not even stop at my table. I'll be like, come on over. They're like, no, I don't have mental health. I'm like, yeah, we all have mental health. But now after COVID, people even say thank you to me because I'm there. And I think it's because we're all struggling now. We're all grieving a world that we had before COVID. Now everything is so different. So that kind of opened more doors for us for mental health.
I think a lot of celebrities too are now coming forward with their own mental health issues, which is helping it be more widely accepted. Because before, like, telling people that, you have had rehab or anything like that is not, and now you have celebrities like, get your help, talk to somebody.
They're even kind of like, I know Justin Bieber, like he's a big advocate of it now, and like he's canceling shows to say, you know what, I can't do this tour right now. I need to check on my health. Like that's great.
Yeah,
like he's putting his health now before money and the fame and all that. So it's really great that he's.
Even Kanye West, right? I mean, there's a lot to be said about that, but at least he's open about the mental issues he struggles with. But I truly wish there was just so much more that could be done.
Well, you guys are helping right now, by opening this. That's thank you so much for doing this, because that's what we need. And like you said, not only September. Yeah. Is at least, check on your friends once a week. Maybe, how you doing?
Once a week, once a month even.
Post something on social media, volunteer, take educate yourselves, like get involved, because if we don't do that, then things are gonna still getting bad and bad, Right.
How has it affected your relationship with your husband or the father?
Oh, it did change, and of course grieving too. That's another topic that people don't want to talk about, grieving. So it's everything, and you have, as a parent, you always carry this guilt.
Yes.
And I know I was a good mom to him, and I know I provide for him, and I thought we were close, but because he didn't mention it to me, I'm wondering now. Yeah. But that's something that with suicide death is the guilt is really hard to deal with. So now I'm the one with depression. Now I'm the one with anxiety. So it's just, I just have to, take care of myself. And I do what you said. If I don't feel good, then I just stay home. I take care of myself and give myself space.
Do you talk to somebody? You have a therapist?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. And I do, I did grieve counseling too, because, of course, everything changes. So, yeah, but this is healing me. This foundation has been healing me a lot. And when I hear moms coming and hugging me and telling me their stories, it breaks my heart for them, and I can only talk of what I know, and I give them advice, but I'm not a therapist, and I just give them resources. That's all I can do.
But some people would prefer to talk to you than a therapist, because you have the experience now, and that's what it's authentic, unfortunately, but that's what people want. They want, a therapist, they never, they never been through it. So it's like they can't relate to what someone is feeling.
Only book knowledge is so far, right?
Yeah.
It's that real life, and you can't take that love and compassion you have for others because of a similar situation. So I think that is huge for you. What are some next ventures for you to keep pushing this, your foundation?
What do you mean?
Like, is there more events that you have coming up?
Yes. October 1st, we're going to have the first mental health walk in Palmdale.
I love it.
So I'm so excited for this, because when Eric passed, I was going to Pasadena for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So I did that, and I wanted to bring it here, but it wasn't possible. So then I decided with my foundation to do it here in Palmdale, because of the same thing, because I see a lot of people reaching out to me. I get messages on Facebook. Maybe I get 3 messages from parents or friends, or I know this lady, or, so I know a lot of people are in need of this. So it's going to be October 1st at the Plant Square in Palmdale, and it's going to be from 8 o'clock to 1 p.m. The registration will start at 7:30, but the walk will start at 8.
And you know what? Excuse me. this is another reason, not reason, but reason why I do support a lot of people, and I'm so grateful that a lot of people support us and listen to our podcast show, because the other day I got a phone call from Diana. Shout out to Diana from Balloons by Gaddy.
Oh, yes.
She called me the other day, and she was like, Mike, I'm doing this event that I typically don't do, but I'm doing this event for this charity, this foundation that's doing a walk. And this lady, she had just lost her son to suicide. And I was like, oh, Jacqueline. And she was like, oh, you know her? I was like, yeah, she's going to be on my show Friday. She was like, oh my God, that's why I was calling you. I had said to myself, I got to hook you up with her because I love what you and Diana are doing. She was like, I feel like you guys are the new voice of the Antelope Valley for things like this. And she was like, I called you because I want to hook you up with her, and so you can just talk to her. Like, she's such a beautiful person. So it's just crazy, like how you were saying, like, and these conversations are happening. People are more supporting. And so that touched my heart when she did that. And she thought about us. Like, I was like, oh, wow.
How's the turnout looking so far?
It's looking out good, and I've been so blessed to have the support for the city of Palmdale. They've been so helpful. I have a lot of sponsors like Waste Management, AV, Chamber of Commerce, Diana, she's gonna help us too. Servpro, Los Angeles Department of Mental Health, NAMI, Designs for Designs. Oh my God, I have so many.
So many. All of you guys, we know you're there.
Yeah, New Colors Project. Mariela Rubio, she's a farmer's agent. Divine Refugee. Oh my gosh, she's gonna help us too. Gabriel's House.
Yes.
They're gonna help us with the music.
So where can people go and register?
Yeah, so I have it on Eventbrite.
Okay.
So it's just AV Mental Health Awareness Day. So they can find it there, or an Instagram page. Website too is urnfoundation.org. They can email me too, info@urnfoundation.org, an Instagram account.
You are enough. I love that.
Yeah, because we don't see it, right? All of us, we sometimes will forget how beautiful we are, or that we're enough, and it's easy to go to that dark side, but we have to remember.
I was listening to someone talk about that moment when they felt all was lost, and the change it had, not only in their mental, but smells were less, like their sense of smell was less, light was darker, and it's crazy the whole body, how it is affected in a whole when they're going through something like that. And so I think that's another topic, to consider is those are maybe some signs that, okay, I need to call, the hotline, and stuff like that. What other events are, like, even if it's not here in the area that you know of for that?
The Adriana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
her. I know about that one. That's the only ones I know.
I would love to have like the entire AV, right? I mean, City of Palmdale, but like City of Lancaster, and it to be combined.
That's true. Well, the chamber, the AV chamber,
Yeah.
will be kind of like combination of both, and we're putting flyers all over the town.
Is the Hispanic Chamber a part of this?
I reach out to them. I'm waiting for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have
especially
Mark here later, so we'll talk to him, because we definitely want to make sure we're
absolutely, yeah.
of support for that, because that's something that we definitely are has a really special place. Our youth is very important. I mean, it's everybody, right? Any adults of all ages, but especially if we can capture our youth.
Yes,
now.
because like you said, is the adulthood step is, and I always tell parents now, keep an eye on, especially the boys.
Yeah.
Girls, they're more willing to share and open up about it. They attempt more, but boys don't share a lot, and they do die more. And another thing, instead of saying commit suicide, say die by suicide, because that commit part kind of like, it's a crime, right?
They intentionally
and that's how the stigma starts. So but boys are dying more than girls.
I like that you said
that. That's because society has taught boys and men to always be hard, like don't talk about your feelings, and that's such a cliche. Like it's wrong to even teach men that, like, we're vulnerable too, we're humans, like we got feelings, and we're supposed to be talking about things.
Right. And yeah, I mean, with I hear it all the time, you know, like men up, right?
Yeah, man up, yeah,
or
that's right.
but we have to make it more easy for them, you know, to share, and it's okay. We cannot be smiling all the time, you know. We have our bad days and good days.
Right. So even with that said, what are the things that you do? Because I know you kind of touched on it a little while ago, to help you go through your process now. Like I call it my playbook. Like, so I have like I have about 20 things listed in my playbook. So like whenever I'm having a bad day, like I just go through my list, whether it's meditating, whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or whatever it is, you know, that puts me back in my happy space, you know, to where I get over it. What are some of the things you do when you're having like one of those days?
I walk. I love to watch romantic comedy movies. Food for me is food. I have like ice cream, sweets, or food. My pets. I love my pets. I think animals are so wonderful.
Good therapy.
They're good therapy. So those are a few things that it brings me back, like you said, and you know.
And that's why, like, I'm always preaching about this playbook thing that I'm creating, right? Because if you go to the store, whatever you buy, there's always instructions, right? Like everybody should have a playbook, right? You always constantly got to be working on yourself. Like people, I think humans, and especially adults, they forget that. They think because they're adults that they know it all, they have it all together. But you know, even like the analogy I used about, you know, sports, you have the best athletes in the world, right? They're at the top of their game, but where are they at every day, every morning? In the gym, training.
Right.
Just because they reach that greatness doesn't mean they stop. So why, as an adult, when we become an adult, we stop working on ourselves? Like through high school, through junior high school, we're constantly learning and doing all these stuff. But after that, we stop for some reason. So I'm glad that you found those things. You know, I call it my playbook, but you found those things that put you back in a happy space, you know. And I think if everybody does that, you know, we can talk more. And I think kids need that too. Even though they're in school now, they're learning basic stuff, but are you learning on how to take care of yourself?
That should be a class though,
That's
like
true.
building your playbook in school. Like, and I always say middle school because I feel like elementary, they're not as, you know, prone to it yet. I mean, there are, you know, obviously exceptions to the rule, but I think middle school is when the hormones really hit. And because of social media, I think it hits sooner in middle school, with like being bullied and, you know, body shaming and, you know, also male and female. Males, you know, toughen up and girls are now more sensitive. We need to address it, and where it's not like this, like, you're having issues. Like, no, like she needs help, or someone, you know, let's be our advocates for each other. So I think middle school really needs to open up some type of class, or, you know, just like they have health classes and, you know, sex ed, like what about mental health classes? That needs to be required.
Yeah, you're right, because you mentioned the gym. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, you're going to the gym. Like, nobody thinks, what are you doing for yourself, or how you're mentally, you know?
Well, having a therapist for a long time was like,
yes.
It's like, like I have a therapist. Yeah. Okay, what's wrong with that?
Some people don't even want to mention that at work. Or, you know, mothers are afraid to talk because, what if they take my kids away? Because what if they think that I'm going through something and I cannot take care of my kids? So it's just everything, like work, workplace, mothers, you know, family too, you know, like the stigma. And another numbers that people don't talk about it too much is old people. Yes. Like the elderly, those are high numbers too on suicide, because sometimes they're alone, or the wife or spouse, you know, died, or the kids are far away, or they get sick. So that's another number.
Well, I think they start to feel like a burden.
Yes.
And that's another point in suicide, is that feeling of I'm a burden, and being kind of, and also the never say this.
LGBT.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yes,
where
that's
it's
a big
huge
one.
number, and it's that's scary for me.
Yeah, because you know they
feel alone.
Some people judge them. Family, sometimes they don't want to accept them. Yeah. So that's another big number too.
I think that aloneness, because that's something that I honestly still struggle with today. Like, I've always been in a relationship, married. This last 3 years is the first time I've ever lived by myself. and I'm 51 years old. So it's new to me and it's different. And that's why a lot of times, like when Diane, when you say, think I'm out a lot, is because sometimes when I'm sitting in a house by myself, like I got to get out. Like I got to get out of that environment and out of my head, you know, because sometimes I struggle with that. And it's like, I was just talking to somebody the other day about it. It's like, when they say God puts you through this situations because he knows you're strong enough to handle it, right?
Yes.
Some days I feel like I don't want to be strong. Like, why do I always have to be
you're testing
strong?
me.
You know, like, yeah, like, why do I always have to be strong?
Yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes it's a lot. And so,
But everybody deals with it differently, because
Yeah.
you'll come at me and be like, why don't you ever call me? And like, if I'm literally going through my own,
Oh, yeah.
I don't, like, I'm a disappearing act. Like, I'll just, where'd Diana go? Like, I haven't seen her in weeks. So we're opposite on that, I think, because
Yeah.
you're like, where are you? Da-da-da. And you're out. And I'm just like, I don't know how you're doing it. Like, I can't, I'm like I'm having anxiety watching him, because I'm just like, oh my God, like, I can't deal with it. So it's funny how we're opposite.
well,
like
that's
that.
because you live with your husband and your son.
Sometimes
like,
I wish that I was by myself.
I know, no, but you know what's funny is like
No, I
people
love my
say
family.
that. No, people say that, but for me, living that, sometimes I don't like being in the house by myself because it does. And mind you, I love like going home sometimes. I have my space and my
just
alone time,
quiet.
but
I can do
no,
whatever I want.
every day like it gets lonely in a house by
understand.
yourself. Like, and I
My
gotta
thing
get
is though,
out.
I would, for me, like when you go, I'm like, I want to go out to the beach. Let me watch the waves. Let me go out somewhere that I haven't been. I can't keep going to the same stuff. Like I need to see different. If I'm gonna be out, I want to experience new stuff.
Right.
That's where I'm at. But like right now, like I know I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you watched our last couple podcasts, but I've been going through my mental breakdown, and he's been watching me like, what the hell, who is this person right now? Because I don't handle it like other people. I handle it like I'm a hermit. I'm a Cancer.
No,
I'm a crab. I go in my shell and I'm like, nobody come
And
in
if
here.
you notice, and you notice yesterday at our meeting was the first time that we talked since Friday. Because I know Mike is off on Monday and Tuesday, so I
He was
leave
off
you
Monday,
alone.
Tuesday, and
Wednesday,
Wednesday
yeah,
this
because y'all
week.
went to the
We went to the
concert.
concert. I
So
was so
I left you
excited.
guys alone. Like I was like, because Diana is going through her things, so I left her alone. So this week I actually left you alone. I didn't call you one time.
You didn't. I'm proud of you. You did a good
I'm
job.
getting to
Mike.
know you.
You're getting to know me. Yeah, because like literally, I also just put my phone on do not disturb, and that he got so mad at me one time. He's like, even me. I was like, even my husband. No one calls me.
I'm trying to get things done. Like you put me in a voicemail.
I'm a texter too. Like if you want something, text me. I'll answer it really quick. But if I do not want to get on a phone, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm also like I just mentioned earlier, like I'm in during my wedding season part 2 right now. So like, literally, I'm working till like 9:00 at night doing paperwork, and I'm starting to. We have some new venues opening up next year for us. So now I'm building my like back office stuff. So all of my forms are getting now accustomed to these specific venues. So it's like I have a lot of work, and like I sometimes feel like I'm drowning, right? And so I'm like trying to keep my head above water. I was just talking to my friend Ruby about this today, actually. Like we prayed for this. This is what we prayed for. We wanted to be, on the next level, and it's here. And now I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What do I do? I can't handle this, And so it's just that growing pain of trying to deal with it and not feel like I'm losing my mind. So
I've been feeling just like how you've been feeling with the walk.
oh my, I know it's probably
Yeah,
an
it
event,
is.
any event like that.
It's overwhelming, and I had to stop like a couple of days. Last weekend we went to Vegas because my husband is like, we need to get away.
Get away.
Yeah, maybe try to do that, but it's understandable.
Well, this is your first event you've ever done. Right?
Yes, my first
so,
event
yeah.
ever.
So that's natural. Don't like that's
What
not.
do
That's
you
normal.
need help with?
You know
Here I am,
what?
take on more.
We've been having a lot of volunteers come in, so we have a lot of big response on that. We're pretty much almost done with anything. I mean, promoting it, passing flyers,
We can do that.
sharing on social
we-
media.
Definitely.
We
talking
definitely
to
gonna do
people.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Do you have flyers on you today?
I do. I have some.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I would love to put one up because we have our little what is that, cork board on the other
Work
side.
board outside,
yeah.
yeah.
But there's different events going on. Maybe having one at the AV Walls tomorrow.
Oh, that'd
and,
be great. Yeah.
I know, like I have a lot of friends here on the boulevard that have businesses that maybe we could put them in their storefronts, because that is something that
Yeah, it
that
needs to
needs to
be.
just-
It needs to be out, and it's time. It's
Well, it's 2 weeks away, so there's still plenty of.
Yeah,
And
and suicide is taking our loved ones. You know.
And you're going to be at the mixer tonight, right?
Yes, we're gonna have a booth. So we're
Okay,
gonna be
good.
there. I'm gonna have more flyers, and I'm just promoting it because, like I said, if I knew of things going on, I wouldn't have my eyes open. So that's what I'm trying to do: open people's eyes and just please look for signs. And my son didn't show me any sign. The only sign that I know now, that I know the signs, he was moody, but he was 20. So you think,
that's a normal teenager.
Yeah, you think, oh, it's teenager, hormonal. That's what I thought. I never click it like, oh, mood and depression.
I think though, and I said this in a podcast way back, is looking at things for what was is it not a blessing, but what is the positive that came out of it. And I think the positive is that you are bringing awareness into what wasn't there. And now you are a voice, and thankful to your son, thankful to him, because you now can save thousands of lives just hearing that from you. So I know that, it's hard to look at a positive in that situation, but if we were having to look at a positive, it would just be that you are an amazing person to put yourself out there and now be able to save so many other lives. So.
It's incredible because you can easily just like go into your shell and just disappear.
Yeah, like,
but you
could be angry. I mean, I'm sure you are.
I was the first year, even with God. People wanted to talk to me about God. I'm like, do not even go there.
Right.
But you know what? After he died, the first month, I was already in the committee for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in Pasadena. How did I get there? I have no idea. But I just wanted to do something. I was mad, but I wanted to do something, And then I created the foundation, and I wanted to come here and bring it to Palmdale. So it just helped me like that to do something, to change lives, and to take action.
No, that's good. Like I said, that's great that you did that. I mean, you made that choice. Like I said, you could be angry forever, and you have that right. But you made a choice to, you know what, I'm going to help people. I'm going to be strong, and I'm going to do what God wants me to do, and I'm going to help people.
Yeah, and I made peace with God, and after I made peace with God, things got even bigger. So I'm so thankful and so blessed, and I'm happy I made peace with Him. And this foundation started for scholarships. I just wanted to give scholarships at Midnight High School, and I just asked the kids to write an essay about mental health. And then little by little, it just started growing, and now we're doing a walk, and I in the car, I have like a decal that has the foundation and the suicide prevention numbers. And when I go get gas, sometimes people come and thank you so much for this, or it's just amazing how much need this community has for this. And another day, a guy came out and he was crying to me. He's like, I was gonna kill myself tonight, and I see these numbers, and I told him about Eric, and he was going through a divorce. And I hug him and I said, it gets better. If I'm here, please, it gets better. Stay. You're going to find a good woman. Give yourself time. And I told him, this is my second marriage. So you can find someone. Please don't give up. So that I was crying with him, and it's just amazing, how, like you said, I think I am saving lives. And Eric is saving lives too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Schools need that, though. I think that should be something, like you said, having people write letters about mental health. That's a great idea.
Do you go in to talk to schools?
I did on Midnight. Right now, I have invitations for Palmdale High School for next year. So I'm going to I want to get to many more schools next year, like to give scholarships, fundraise more money. This year, I couldn't fundraise too much. So if I have any more funds on the walk funds, then I'm going to use it for the scholarships, to help kids and as many high schools as I can.
And I think one of the things that we're trying to bring awareness to is the young entrepreneurs, because that is key out here. And I think that's amazing that those scholarships will go towards their education and really putting those kids on the map with a direction in life.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's so key right now.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to do. So we do that, and we also bring grief support groups. I started this like 2 months ago. I got certified from Glendale Adventist Hospital, so I'm a facilitator. So I started to doing that for English and Spanish, and I also get compliments on how much needed. That's also for the community, because that's another taboo, grief. Like people check on you when the loss happens, but then 6 months to a year, I mean, which is understandable. People move on, but people that are grieving feel really lost.
The meals stop, the flowers
Yes,
stop, the
yes,
visits stop.
yeah. Yeah.
You don't think about it though. Like I'm just like, as you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, like then life kind of moves on and things happen and other situations happen, but we should always check back and just be like, hey,
Like I love what you said, be kind and more compassionate. That's what we have to do. That's how we can change this world. Just be more empathized and compassionate to each other. Even in adulthood, I see more bullying in adulthood than kids. And sometimes I see it and I do say things and I'm like, oh my God, like how old are we and why are we doing this to ourselves?
But it's an inward, so it's a reflection of what they feel inside. So if they're insecure about something, they automatically will judge another person because of that. And so maybe they're dealing with mental health and they're just ashamed to say it. So they're like, oh, I don't understand that. But really they don't understand it because they're going through it or grieving. And a lot of times it's just education. It's not understanding what someone else is feeling, and the compassion needs to come through. And that, I don't know if that can be taught, but I hope that support groups will.
Yeah.
Well, because we talked about this last night. I was talking to Captain Schaefer about this last night. As a child, and I think I talked about it on the show too. We're all part of the we system as a child, right? We're told what to do. We're given our names. We're taught about who to like, who to love, who not to like. Like we're really taught that. Like don't like him because of the color of his skin or whatever. Don't like him because his parents work at McDonald's or whatever. We're taught that. And as an adult, it's our responsibility to become the I system now. It's to get out of the we system and to form your own identity and become the I system. And some adults are still part of that we system. They never grew out of it. And that's a problem. Because even like last night, this lady was speaking at the town hall and like she snapped on somebody. And everybody was like, oh, why are you snapping at her? Like the lady didn't even do nothing. But she just I think she came there just to argue, and it's like there's no reason for that. Like we're here to have a conversation to make the community better, and you're snapping on someone, and that's why no one really wants to talk, because of people like her that just snapped at her.
Oh my gosh!
And it was like, and me and Mark sat there. It was like, oh my God, like everybody was just having a conversation.
Are you going through something, man? Talk to somebody.
Like you need a hug.
It's so true though, like what you said, because I know, like I was in a we system for even into my adulthood. I had my son and daughter very young, and so I listened to everything my mom and dad said. Like I was like a teenager, so I thought, oh my God, they know everything. They're my parents. And so even at 18, 19 years old, I was like following what they said. And then at some point I was like, wait a minute. I don't like everything you say. Like, I think I need to figure this out on my own. And I think that's the realization, is that, as kids, we think our parents or adults in general know it all. They have it together. Like they're the boss. And then when you become an adult, you're like, wait a second, I don't know shit.
Right.
I'm a hot mess just like everybody else, and we're all trying to figure out what the heck to do in our lives. And my parents were just trying their best. So I've learned to forgive my parents for what the mistakes I think they made with raising me and not allowing me to be myself, because I was very sheltered. And now I'm crazy now. But no, I've learned to forgive and just like, you have to love yourself the way you wish you were loved.
Oh, yes.
And that's hard. That's hard to feel, that you're worthy of it, that you're worthy of love. And then to find that, like, what does compensate for you? What does mean love to you? It's a journey. And I think I'll be forever on that journey, is just as I grow and I learn and I evolve, then everything shifts again. And I'm like, okay, I got to refine the love again and refine my worth again. And that's just something that I think I'll battle with forever. But I think it's accepting that, acknowledging that's just part of adulthood.
It is. And we don't get taught like that to love ourselves. We really don't. Like you said, our parents, in my case, I was raised by my mom, single mom. So we just have to work, and she was just working. So I really didn't have any guidance. And with my kids, I tried to do that for them, but I didn't. I told them, yeah, you're beautiful, you're handsome. I said things that I never got told. My mom never told me or anything. But to love yourself is just the thing that I think we all have to teach our kids, to love themselves.
Yeah. Nobody can love you the way you can love yourself. And then also, you mentioned work. And something that we're really big on is finding your gift and finding your passion, and not just doing the mundane 9 to 5 or work, a job that you don't truly love, and just in staying with that general, consensus of like, you work, you have a family until the day you die.
Yeah.
You don't quit your job. You stay in that job for 40, 50 years or whatever it is, get your retirement. There's so much more to life. And I don't think we were taught that. Our parents weren't taught that. My parents were taught, you work, it doesn't matter. You find a job that pays the bills and suck it up, buttercup kind of a situation. And we break the norm. We're breaking the mold of that. A lot of the entrepreneur world, I would say that we just don't conform. And that's been, I think, a big movement. Even more, I see it now with the COVID. Because even before COVID, I had a corporate job and I was working my business. And COVID changed a lot for a lot of people, and people realized that they could make a living off of doing what they love. And they became to find themselves more in doing what they love, and that passion and this more wholesome, like they're glowing from the inside out because they're happy with what they're doing now. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the true happiness and the success for
and
me.
Teaching our kids that that's okay.
Yeah, to have a purpose, like you said, volunteer, help someone. That's another thing that can give you.
Well, giving back, period. Yeah. That you can't put a price on that. I mean, that's more fulfilling than getting and earning. I would say to some extent. Yes. Obviously, you have to make a living and live.
Of course.
But like a lot of times, giving back is like like I love having the podcast with him because we get to hear stories like yours and feel like we're not alone, or find out information that we never knew, and it's just so educating and
or you also think, I don't have it as bad as other people, right?
I don't think that.
When I tell people like, really, it's gonna pass really, really, like
everything works out in the end, and it's I always say that too with you when we go on some of the different guests we've had, is that sometimes it's that very next day, and they don't give it that next day. Yeah. And that's the hard part. It's that next day where your life's gonna change, but you just couldn't hold on. And I get it. Like I always say, like I don't know, and I wish I could help, and I don't know how to reach some people, but I understand the feeling of helplessness. I understand that feeling of feeling lost, and I wish that there was a red flare in the sky sign to us so that we could say, wait, that's what I wish. I really wish there was something, like I wish a light went off or something.
Well, and that's why I love doing the podcast, because you just never know what word, story, or just giving someone a thought could do to their lives. I read a lot of books. I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of videos, just inspirational, motivational videos. And sometimes just that word or phrase someone uses clicks something in my head. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like you said, it's not just me that feels that way.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel better. And I can get through the day with that. So that's why I love doing this. Is there anything else besides the foundation? Like, are you planning on writing a book one day or doing anything different?
That's a good question.
Oh, no, I mean, no, I haven't thought about it, but I do. My goal for the foundation is to have a facility or an office and to bring affordable therapy. That's my goal. So
Okay.
I always talk about the walk, and I'm doing it, so I know that I'm gonna accomplish that other one. So that's what I want the foundation to be about, because sometimes people don't have $250 for a therapist.
Right.
Sometimes the medical doesn't include it, or like I said, 4 months, go through the insurance. So I want to have a facility so we can have and help kids and adults and anybody that needs it. So that's my plan for the future. And maybe a book, I don't know. You're like the third person that had mentioned
No,
that
because
to me.
like we said at the top of the show, when you have someone like yourself that's been through it, like people want to hear that. And you never know who you're going to reach by that. You never know who's going to pick up that book and be like, wow.
There's only so much we can talk here on a podcast,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sure there's more that will come, pouring out of you with the book. And it's it could be something that's on audio even,
Yeah.
and somebody will listen to on the way to work and be like, I was going to do something today, but listening to Jacqueline, I'm gonna not.
Because like we were saying earlier, a lot of people that have these thoughts, they don't come out and say anything, but you don't know. Maybe they're online looking for something, looking for that answer. Maybe they're in a bookstore and they might pick up a book that might change their lives. You just never know.
And books are timeless, right? Like
Right.
you can literally, it could be something you wrote, today, and in 10 years someone reads it
Exactly.
and listens to it, and you just saved another life, and you don't even know it. You won't
Right.
ever know these people.
Oh my gosh, that's my goal. Like that's what I was. That's what drives me. I just want to save lives, and
Exactly. And that's why I do, again, the podcast, because it's going to be online, and what's online is forever. Like somebody can listen to this podcast, like she said, 10 years from now. And then be like,
Right.
wow, I love Jacqueline's story. I
And
love
look
what she
up
said.
your foundation and see where it is
Yeah.
now and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Like you just never know.
yeah.
Where are you having classes now, or groups now, therapy now?
Oh, the grief support group, at the Chimboli Center.
Okay.
Yeah, so they help a lot too. So I'm doing it every Wednesday.
I love that.
Every Wednesday. So one week this week was in English. Next week will be in Spanish, and it's from 4:30 to 6:30.
Is there a fee associated?
No, free. It's free, and they don't need to sign up. Like they don't have to stay for 12 weeks. It's just open room.
Just show
So
up.
This is a class?
It's a grief support group.
Oh, grief support.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do classes online, like mental health classes online, but right now I haven't really done it because of the walk, but I'm going to start doing them in October, November. I just do mental health, stigma, suicide prevention, depression, anxiety.
I love it. Well, I definitely want to promote your classes. I think I didn't know, so I think that's a really great, opportunity for our community to do
Yeah,
that and
yeah.
not have to feel obligated for 12 weeks just to kind of show up if you really need it. And it's grief for anything, right? Like
Right.
it could be suicide, it could be loss of a loved
Oh
one.
yeah,
it
any
could be-
it's not just a specific loss. It's anybody
that.
that would love to just to have a safe space and share your thoughts and your feelings, and that's all.
That's amazing.
Well, Jacqueline, I definitely want to thank you because we are running out of time, but
Okay.
definitely want to thank you, unless you have something more to say.
No, thank you. Just just be kind, get educated, reach out, and don't give up. Life gets better. If I'm here sitting down without my Eric, it gets better. Please have hope. That's all I want.
100%. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again for sharing your story with us. Thank you for joining us today and having this conversation, and knowing that you're more than always welcome to come back.
Oh, yeah.
And let's have these conversations on a regular,
Oh, yeah.
not just once a year.
That'd be great.
Like these conversations, and that's what I'm trying to set up.
Yeah.
Like I want to have these conversations more often, and I talked to Captain Schaefer about that last night. That we need to have all these conversations on a regular.
And the
Now-
podcast is mobile, so
Yeah.
if there's
Oh,
ever an
cool.
opportunity and we want to hear more people's stories, please let us know. We'd
Yeah.
love to be a part of whatever.
That'd
Yeah,
be
we can go
great.
wherever,
Yes.
and
We can go to the walk and just.
Oh yeah, there you go.
be carrying this big machine. But no, but thank you again, Jacqueline. We truly appreciate it. Remind us again about the walk.
So October 1st
Okay.
at the Ponceltran Square.
That's
It's
by the
re-
library.
By the library, 7:30 is registration. 8:00 is the time to start walking, and 8 to 1 p.m. we're gonna have food trucks. Service dogs are gonna be there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have activities, and it's just a safe space to talk about our loved ones. And if you're struggling, come on over and let's make a noise in this community.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you guys ever want to talk about anything? You want to talk about suicide prevention? You just want to vent? I always tell you guys, if you want to vent, you can reach out to me. Reach out to me on IG at 1NELife Brand. reach out to Diane at Socialholic TV. You can call us at 747-999-8021. Again, 747-999-8021. Or if you need to talk to anybody, dial 988.
988 or
Or-
text 741. Just text hello, and someone will talk to you and text you.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
We definitely will be there tonight. Are you going to have registration for the walk there tonight?
The flyers. I'll have the flyers
You
there.
have the flyer,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so
and
we're-
it has the little scanner, so you can scan and register if you like.
Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
cool.
Okay. All right. Well, we are out of here. Thank you again.
Well, thank you, and remember, you're enough. Thank
You are.
You are. I love that phrase.
I do.
All right, you guys. We're out of here. Till next time.